Hey all, Zenith here. Gaming is epic. And as much as I can talk about other subjects, I'm mostly interested in things related to video games. From Let's Plays to Five Nights at Freddy's theories, it never seems like it gets old. And so with the tried and true question, if I were on a deserted island and were to only have one console, there's only one that I can truly pick.
The Nintendo shit cube.
Now this may come as a surprise, but I kinda love this console. There's some sort of charm to this stupid box that nothing's replicated ever since. And although the library wasn't huge by any means, mainly due to these Disney fucking garbage, the library that did exist is actually incredible. So many bangers of games that just never seem to get the attention that they really deserve. So with that said, my name is Zenith, and in the next month I'd like to reminisce on some of my favorite games on debatably my favorite console. And when I first thought about doing this, the first game that I thought of is a racing game made for babies. When it comes down to it, Kirby Air Ride isn't anything deep. In fact, it's probably the most simple game I've ever played. Released in 2003, Kirby Air Ride is a racing game starring everybody's favorite pink Nintendo character, Kirby. And there are literally two buttons you need to play this game. A is to brake and the joystick is to turn. You don't even need to accelerate, it does it for you. And now I know what you're thinking, how can a game even be considered racing if all you do is turn around? And I'm sure you probably heard of this simplicity before, and someone new to this would probably think that this is just a stupid baby game for babies. And although they may be right, there's a surprising amount of depth to what on the surface looks like something just for kids. Now I just want to say that most of what I say is going to be pertaining to Kirby Air Ride's third and obviously best mode, City Trial, since it's the mode that I and probably everybody else have spent the most time with. But since I know you guys love to complain, I'm going to give you guys a quick synopsis of both Air Ride and Top Ride, so you know you can get off my back, all right? You fucking jabroni. They're bad. They're bad. It's weird to believe that such a simple game can give me so many hours of enjoyment. From playing with a group of friends to just myself, I can't ever think of a time where I didn't have fun. But why is that? Why out of every game it was this one, seemingly a filler title that ended up eating so many hours of my life? Hell, not even the full game, just one mode. I mean, to anybody who hasn't played Kirby Air Ride, it just seems like an extremely simple time waste. But to understand why I love it so much, you're gonna have to understand what the game actually is. City Trial is a mode that lasts from 3 to 7 minutes and can be played with 2 to 4 players. You all start off on the Compact Star, the debatably shittiest car in the game, but can find varying cars randomly all throughout the map. There are cars like the classic Warp Star, weird ass shit like the Swerve Star, and obviously the best one, the Wing Star. As you traverse the city, you gather upgrades to try and make a super car with insane stats. And after the timer's up, you do a short minigame. This could be a simple drag race to flying into targets to... Oh boy, we'll get to that one. Power-ups can be gained by falling from the sky, random city events, or by breaking boxes. The blue boxes contain normal items, green boxes suck, don't use them, and red boxes have either copy abilities or a piece of the legendary machines. These boxes add a sort of strategy, as you can choose to spend your time trying to break blue boxes to get stat boost, or you could go for red boxes for a chance at the legendary machines. Because oh boy, when you get that machine, you're pretty much golden. There's not much that I can say about these things other than the fact that they are insanely OP. Like, what the fuck? Who thought this was a good idea? No matter how much the other players grind, there's barely any way they're going to even have a chance at winning if you get one of these. And the game knows this too, playing some insane cinematic of the car being assembled, the sky changing, and even playing a special song after it's unlocked. The game knows how insanely powerful they are, and that makes the race to get them even more fun. Once one of these pieces are found, the game goes from trying to upgrade your car to stopping that motherfucker who has that piece is going to the fucking car. The Dragoon is literally an airplane, being the best flying machine in the entire game. If you get the Air Glider or the High Jump minigame, you're almost guaranteed an easy win. While the Hydra is just a fucking... A tank. Although first you have to charge it up. Once it's fully charged, you go, oh my god, oh my god! This car is perfect for things like drag races or destruction derbies, but in all honesty, most of the time only one of these cars gets unlocked per game, and if you're lucky enough to get the pieces, you're pretty much set. Additionally, there's a free run mode, where you're able to actually explore the city, being able to ride every vehicle in the game, and just find all the secret Easter eggs that it has to offer. And for such a simple mode, there's a surprising amount of detail in this world that just goes unnoticed. Things like the dragons actually hurting you, a secret underground tunnel that leads to the main garage, and just... What the fuck? There are random flowers in such niche spots, they're actually a challenge to get to. And when I say challenge, I mean challenge.
To the flower I go. Fuck. Come on. Turn around. Oh my god. To the flower I go. Fuck. No, my car. No, no.
That, including random events that happen in the city, make for some pretty hectic gamer moments. Although the city stays the same, there are certain events that can happen throughout your playthrough, and they can really screw up your game if you get unlucky. These random events include having all the boxes bounce around, all the boxes having the same items, how it feels to chew 5 gum, and... Most of the events surrounding City Trial are just the typical race that you can do in Air Ride, but once you add in all the added stat boosts and legendary vehicles, it makes for a unique experience. And although you can fly through targets or see how far you fly or fly as high as you can, there's a lot of flying minigame. There's one event that to me sticks out the most, because versus King DDD is a fucking nightmare. In versus King DDD, you and 3 other players work together to try and kill him. This may seem easy until you realize that every player only has 1 life, and King DDD hits you like a goddamn truck, and you don't know how much health he has. You'll have to use every item and transform ability that you can find, and also try not to attack your other teammates in the process. And you have to do all of this in 2 minutes. King DDD is pretty much the final boss of Kirby Air Ride, being the only minigame that has everybody working together to try and defeat him, and it's anything but easy. But with this, including the checklist that City Trial has, it's hard to not end up enjoying the experience of unlocking things and finally clearing those checkboxes for those insane missions. I remember watching a video of someone playing in City Trial, and they had both legendary cars in their garage, so I looked up how to try and get them. And little did I know that I actually didn't have to cheat, I only needed to complete a few missions to unlock them. And although it wasn't insanely hard or took a bunch of my time, being able to physically see my reward felt so... good. And one of the checkbox missions is to defeat King DDD. So one day, my sisters, one of their friends, and I decided to finally try and beat King DDD. We spent hours of City Trial grinding up so many stats, trying our hardest to get an amazing vehicle, or even a legendary one, and going to King DDD over and over, and dying over and over. But then one time, somehow, someway, we did. And this happened. And although you can't play him in regular City Trial, you can only play him in Free Ride, and he honestly kind of sucks. Being able to play as King DDD makes the experience of trying to beat him that much more rewarding. And it's things like this that really make my time playing with this game such a fun experience. Being able to unlock different colors of Kirby, special characters, legendary vehicles, although used in a mode that's kind of useless, just the feeling of unlocking in the first place, something that can only be used as a legendary item or not used at all, feels incredible to unlock. The replayability of Kirby Air Ride doesn't come from trying to master a mechanic or grinding extremely hard to beat a certain challenge. It comes from the sheer arcadey, random nature that the city has to offer. One game you could get what seems to be like a billion glide power-ups and glide around crazily. Or maybe you got so many turn power-ups that it's genuinely hard for you to turn your vehicle. No matter the case, every game somehow always feels different, while being exactly the same. I can say with 100% confidence that if I had to pick one Gamecube game to bring to the Switch, it would have to be this one. I think it fits perfectly as both a party game and a single player experience. Of course, not everybody's going to be as invested as I was, but the checklist should be able to give so many hours of enjoyment that it shouldn't matter. And in this time where I peer pressured my friends to install Parsec and get them to play with me for gameplay, has honestly been one of the best times I've ever had. Kirby Air Ride always knows how to be fun, from being extremely overpowered or just being a little shit. Every game is different. Listen, this game isn't for everybody. Not everyone's going to enjoy how simple, easy, and random the game is. But City Trial has eaten up so many hours of my life that it's hard for me to not try and get everyone that I know to at least try it. Because nowadays, racing games come in 2 forms. They either try to be overly realistic and have an insanely high skill ceiling, or they try to be Mario Kart, and they add in items and power-ups and all this random shit to try and make the game actually interesting. But Kirby Air Ride did none of that. Kirby Air Ride was an extremely simple racing game with a low skill floor and tons of randomness, and it is one of the best racing games I've ever played.